Hello, writers! Today we're going to listen to the story Click Clack Moo, Cows That Type. And as I'm reading, I want you to think closely about the different types of writing that you see in this story. Farmer Brown had a problem. His cows liked to type. All day long he hears click clack moo, click clack moo, clickety clack moo. That part repeats over and over again. Can you try it with me and then join in with me when we hear it again? Click clack moo, click clack moo, clickety clack moo. At first, he couldn't believe his ears. Cows that type? Impossible. Can you help me? Click clack moo, click clack moo, clickety clack moo. Then he couldn't believe his eyes. What do you notice on the barn door? Do you see the letter? Dear Farmer Brown, the barn is very cold at night. We'd like some electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. It was bad enough that the cows had found the old typewriter in the barn. Now they wanted electric blankets? No way, said Farmer Brown. No electric blankets. So the cows went on strike. They left a note on the barn door. Sorry, we're closed. No milk today. No milk today, cried Farmer Brown. In the background, he could hear the cows busy at work. Can you help me? Click clack moo, click clack moo, clickety clack moo. The next day, he got another note. Dear Farmer Brown, the hens are cold too. They'd like electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. The cows were growing impatient with the farmer. They left a new note on the barn door. Closed. No milk, no eggs. No eggs? Cried Farmer Brown. In the background, he heard click clack moo, click clack moo, clickety clack moo. Cows that type, hens on strike. Who ever heard of such a thing? How can I run a farm with no milk and no eggs? Farmer Brown was furious. Farmer Brown got out his own typewriter. Dear cows and hens, there will be no electric blankets. You are cows and hens. I demand milk and eggs. Sincerely, Farmer Brown. Duck was a neutral party, so he brought the ultimatum to the cows. The cows held an emergency meeting. All the animals gathered around the barn to snoop, but none of them could understand moo. All night long, Farmer Brown waited for an answer. Duck knocked on the door early the next morning. He handed Farmer Brown a note, another letter from the cows. What do you think it says? Do you think they're ready to give milk? Let's find out. Dear Farmer Brown, we will exchange our typewriter for electric blankets. Leave them outside the barn door, and we will send Duck over with the typewriter. Sincerely, the cows. Now, we just finished a unit on persuasive writing. Do you think that the cows, the letter that they wrote to the farmer, do you think their letter will persuade the farmer to give them what they're asking for? What are your thoughts? What do you think will happen next? Farmer Brown decided that this was a good deal. He left the blankets next to the barn door and waited for Duck to come with the typewriter. Did their persuasive letter work? Yeah, they finally got electric blankets in the barn. The next morning, he got a note. Dear Farmer Brown, the pond is quite boring. We'd like a diving board. Sincerely, the ducks. Click, clack, quack. Click, clack, quack. Clickety, clack, quack. So now, what happened? Did Duck bring the typewriter back? He's using it for his own persuasive letter. And what did the ducks ask for? A diving board. Do you think their letter will persuade Farmer Brown? Well, we're not sure, but look at this illustration that the illustrator left us with. What do you see? So that makes me think, what? That perhaps their letter did persuade Farmer Brown for a diving board. We just read the story Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type. And as we were reading today, we noticed a new type of writing in our story. We noticed some letters. One of the letters the cows wrote today said, Dear Farmer Brown, the barn is very cold at night. We'd like some electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. Today, as we were reading, we noticed that the cows and the hens and the ducks were writing some persuasive letters to the farmer. They thought of something that they wanted, and they wrote a letter to try and persuade the farmer to give them what they needed. So today for Writer's Workshop, you're going to be writing a letter too. And you're going to think of someone today. It could be someone in your family, it could be a friend, it could be a neighbor. You're going to think of someone that you'd like to write to, and you're going to think about something that you'd like to ask them, something that you'd like to persuade them to do. We've been practicing this a lot in our unit that we just finished. Well, the other day, when Annabelle came home from being at her Papa and Nana's house, she had been working in the garden with them, and they had been planting some sunflower seeds and some corn. And when she came home, she said to me, Mom, why doesn't Papa have any strawberry plants in his garden? I love strawberries. I think Papa should plant some strawberries in his garden. And it made me think about our unit that we've been working on. And I thought that I could write a letter to my dad, and I could try and persuade him to make his garden a little bit larger next year so that he has some room to plant some strawberry plants. Now, if I'm going to write to him and I'm going to ask him to do this, I want to think about a reason that would persuade him to do this. And I know that one of the reasons that Annabelle loves to pick strawberries from the farm is because she always tells us that they taste much sweeter than the strawberries at Wegmans. So she loves them fresh off the plant. So I think I'll use that reason to try and persuade my dad to plant some strawberry plants in his garden next year. When you're working on your letter today, you're going to start with the date first. So I'm going to write today's date, June 14th, 2021. And you'll notice that your intro to your letter is already started for you. You'll see that word dear. And then you're going to put the name of the person that you're writing to next. I'm writing to my dad today, so I'm going to write Dear Dad. And then just like I do at writing time, I'm going to plan how I'd like my letter to go. So I'm going to touch my letter paper today, and I'm going to say my sentences out loud. Dear Dad, Annabelle loves to pick strawberries. She says they taste sweeter at the farm. I'm going to start with that part in my letter because it's setting up what I'm going to ask my dad to do. Annabelle loves, I'm going to remember to put my finger space down so that when my dad gets this letter, it will be easy for him to read. Annabelle loves to. Oh, we can do that in a snap. T-O. Annabelle loves to pick. Can you help me with that word pick? Hold up your rubber band. Let's stretch it out. P-I-K. Pick. What do you hear at the beginning? P-I-K. Annabelle loves to pick strawberries. Every time we go to the farm, she gets very excited when it's strawberry season. So I'm going to put an exclamation mark here. She says, I'm going to put down my finger space and start my new sentence. She says they taste. They taste sweeter. They taste sweeter at the farm. So now I've shared that reason why she loves picking them from the farm, because they taste sweeter. Now I'm going to add that part in where I'm going to ask my dad what I'd like him to do. I'm going to say, you should dig a larger garden, and then we can plant strawberries. You should dig. Oh, can you help me with that word dig? D-I-G. Dig. Can you write it on your hand while I write it in my letter? D-I-G. You should dig a larger garden. And, oh, can you help me write and in a snap? Say it with me. A-N-D. And we can plant strawberries. I'll say strawberry seeds. And I think I'm going to finish with another reason for why you should do this. I'm going to say you will love the fresh taste. And then my dad will be thinking about how delicious the strawberries will taste, and he'll think, oh, that sounds like a great idea. I should definitely plant those in my garden next year. And you'll notice at the bottom of our letter paper today, it has some words already written for you. It says your friend, and then you can add your name below. If those words weren't there for me, I might change that to your daughter before I'm signing this letter. So boys and girls, today at writing time, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to think about who you might send a letter to. So in our story today, the cows were writing to the farmer because the farmer was going to be able to give them those electric blankets and the diving board. And then I decided today to write to my dad because Annabelle was really hoping that we could plant some strawberries in the garden. So I want you to take some time today and think about who you might write to and what you might try to persuade them to do. And if you'd like to take a picture of your letter and send it to me, I'd love to see what you came up with today. Have fun writing!